There's been a 6-week break, but that's done nothing but build the enthusiasm for the conclusion to the touring cars this weekend. With just 3 races to go, there are 9 points separating the 2 title contenders of Jason Plato and Fabrizio Giovanardi. And here at Thruxton, there are 52 points on offer. Good morning and welcome to Setanta Sports and our live coverage of the British Touring Car Championship here at Thruxton. And as you can see, the crowds are out in force to support this fantastic event. There are over 13 titles to be wrapped up this weekend. Here's how the day looks. All 3 races from the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship will be live here during the next 7 hours. The drivers, teams, manufacturers and independents titles are all to be decided today. We'll also be showing you the final rounds of the Porsche Carrera Cup, Seat Cupra Championship, Clio Cup and Formula Renault UK Championship, which brings our season to a close at around 20 to 6 this evening. So this is our second visit to Thruxton this year, and today is all about the British Touring Car Championship. But the week began in pretty dramatic fashion for our championship leader.
Oxford racing driver Jason Plato's been involved in a high-speed crash. He was driving a road car at a circuit in Leicestershire for the TV programme Fifth Gear. Plato suffered burns to his hands, arms and neck when a car he was testing burst into flames. He was treated at the burns unit at Stoke Mandeville Hospital.
I believe the fire came out of the inlet, the engine inlet here, and came down across me. And this is what they call a full thickness burn. So the skin's dead, the nerves are dead, the blood vessels are dead. Big nasty scar will develop. So yes, we'll be in a bit of pain, but we have to dig. We've got to dig deep, and we've got a championship, all 3 to win.
Well, that was earlier in the week, but I'm very pleased to say that Jason is here with us now, along with his championship rival, Fabrizio Giovanardi. Jason, was there any point that you thought I might not be racing at Thruxton?
To be honest, no, there wasn't, because that's never in the mindset to think like that. I mean, amusingly enough, that was the first thing I thought about when I got out of the car. I hope I'm okay, but no, I mean, I was always going to try and have a go and see. Do the best I could, but so far so good. We've had a good qualifying day today, and adrenaline is amazing stuff. It's the best painkiller in the world. We're going to go out and try and win this thing. It's a very important championship, as Fabrizio will testify, and it's one which is one of the hardest to win throughout the world, and we want that bag of silver.
Racing drivers will look for the edge wherever they can. Was there any point at which you thought, Fabrizio, this might slow him down a bit?
No, why? No, it's okay. I was very worried for himself during the weekend, because I want to fight with him 100%. So I'm very happy because he can drive. So I'm very sorry for him, for himself, for sure, because it's different between life and racing. So I think we will make good show for the people that are watching us, and we win. Again, another battle very close. Again, I think we decide in the last races. So for me, it's okay. I finished second because I made a fight with a good driver. So if I win, it's better. But for himself, it's the same.
The Drivers' Championship obviously is the one that you guys both have your eye on. It's really been neck and neck between the two of you so far. 3 races to go. Do you expect it to go all the way down to the wire?
Absolutely. It's kind of set in stone. It's going to go down to the wire. Hopefully bad luck won't strike any of us, and I think the way the points are and the way that it's going to move around during the course of the day, it would be great if it went all the way down to the last race. I kind of think it might do it.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to a fantastic fight, so best of luck to the both of you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, down here on the Thruxton grid, we're remarkably, the weather's very nice, but the mood is quite sombre. Quite soon there's going to be we believe 30 seconds applause for Colin McRae, who tragically died in a helicopter accident a few weeks ago. Colin actually raced once in the British Touring Cars as a guest and had a bit of a Titanic struggle with Matt Neal over my shoulder there. We'll see if we can grab a quick word with Matt before we start the silence. I'm not sure, I think possibly they might be going now. Not trying to get too involved in this. Let's see it going. Matt, I believe you're out the cars as a tribute to Colin McRae, is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to do a clap, an applause, a period of applause for him.
Now, I believe you actually had the one race that Colin had, you had a bit of a battle with him up at Knockhill.
Yeah, I think he's famous for having a battle with the terrain and the tracks, but the one time he did get against other people, it was my turn. Here we go.
Okay. Okay, that's for Colin McRae. Sadly missed, and we'll never see us like again, but back this weekend. And obviously the big news was, as we've seen before in the preview programme, was of course the fact that Jason has injured himself. We'll just go and see if we grab a quick word with him as he gets into the car. He is, of course, the championship leader. We'll see if we can sneak in a little bit of a word. He's being re-strapped in, which obviously is quite difficult given the situation he's in. We'll just let him get himself settled down. He's burnt his shoulders, which obviously, remember, is particularly bad because of the hands device he's wearing, which is going to be sitting on those areas of difficulty and burn. He's now trying to get things sorted out. It's a very, very gentle situation there as he gets getting the belts on there. See what he can do. Obviously, this is a much longer process than normal. Now, luckily, of course, these are 3 sprint races, but he has got burns in his hands. And obviously, it's also, if you just look up here, it's his 40th birthday. So he's had a bit of a bad start to the week with the accident in the TV recording. And now, obviously, he's looking to go for the championship. And it's his 40th birthday. So they say life begins at 40. And I think Jason may be finding out quite soon. Just grab a very quick word with Jason. Jason, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the 3 races we've got today. You know, it's a fairly important day, isn't it? So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Are you pain-free?
No, not really. I think adrenaline is a wonderful stuff, and whilst I'm not very comfortable now, once we get going, the pain level drops off considerably. So, but we'll be all right. I'm an Englishman, and look what England did last night in the rugby. I've got to dig deep and do the best I can.
We all wish you the best. Thanks, Jason. Well, a very brave man. Now, we've got a very quick try. Let's go quicker sprint up here. We're going to have a quick word for Fabrizio. Fabrizio, you're where you want to be. You're in front of Jason. You're in a fast car on a fast circuit. You must be very confident.
I'm not really confident. No, I just will be careful because Jason is very strong. So it's just back to me. Everything could happen in the first corner. I have just to try to go very quickly off of the trouble, and we'll see.
You've got a new teammate, Alain Menu, this week. Is he here to play yours? We call it rear gunner, to back you up?
Yeah, he's a very strong guy. He won twice the championship, so I can be very confident with him and with Tom. So we'll see again.
Best luck, Fabrizio. We just mentioned that there are 2 extra guys in the race today. There's Alain Menu over there, the 2-time British Touring Car Champion running for Vauxhall, and Tom Coronel, the double World Independence Champion running for SEAT. So any minute now, we're going to come back, and it's time for the first race of this, the final round of the British Touring Car Championship. Anything to play for. The Italian, as you can see, he's on the front row. His teammate's next to him. He's got the 3rd car in 3rd place. Jason is injured. Let's find out what happens after the break.
Welcome back to Thruxton. We're here on Setanta Sports with live coverage of the first of 3 touring car races here today to determine the outcome of the championship. Here's how they line up on the grid then. It's Tom Chilton, his first pole of the season for Vauxhall. What a time to do it. He's got his teammate and championship contender Fabrizio Giovanardi alongside. Then the 3rd Vauxhall, the new one of Alain Menu, in for this weekend with the other championship protagonist right alongside him, Jason Plato's 4th. Matt Neal, the outgoing champion, lines up 5th, and Colin Turkington, who's trying to win the independence title here today, is 6th. 7th on the grid, the 2nd of the Seats, and then Mike Jordan, the other one, or one of 3 in fact, looking to try and win that independence title here today. 9th on the grid is Gordon Shedden, race winner at Knockhill last time out. Matt Allison, excellent performance from him to qualify in 10th place. 11th on the grid, Matt Jackson, still with an outside chance of the independence title, hard work from there. And the 3rd Seat, new man, Tom Coronel, making his debut in British touring cars. Tom Onslow Cole lines up 13th. Adam Jones is in 14th place, just alongside. Then it's John George, and it should be Owen Murray, but Murray actually going to be starting from the pit lane, I think. He's going to be from the back. He's just come out of the pit lane. Then we've got Rob Collard and Paul O'Neill next up on the grid. They're followed by Erkut Gazilimak and Jason Hughes. Then we've got towards the back of the grid David Pinkney and Alan Taylor, and on the final row of the grid it's Martin Bell and Fiona Leggett. We've got Rick Kerry at the back as well. So that's how they line up then for the first of the 3 races here at Thruxton this weekend, and the cars already making their way around on this green flag lap. The first of 3 races then to determine the outcome of the 2007 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Alfa Romeo's starting at the back, Tim. I'm not quite sure if there was some tactics involved there.
No, well, I don't think so. Pinckney and Owen Young starting from the pit lane and rejoining after the pack had gone through. I don't think necessarily some strategy there. There may be. There's often conflict up at the complex, but we'll see.
So, cars moving into position then. Remember, it's Tom Chilton on pole position. He's always fast here at Thruxton, but he's yet to win a race for Vauxhall. It's the end of his 2nd season with Vauxhall, and he's still looking for his first win with the manufacturer. Other cars all moving into place, waiting for the flags to indicate that all cars are in position. It's round 28 of the championship. 3 races to go here at Thruxton, a championship to be settled, the manufacturer's title as well, and the independents. What's going to happen in this first race? We're about to find out. The Vauxhalls are 1, 2, 3 on the grid, but Jason Plato's right in there, ready to start from 4th place. Lights on, lights out, and race underway, and Tom Chilton gets away well. Giovanardi goes with him. Then it's Menu. Matt Neal's going well, trying to get alongside Jason Plato as they head up through Allard Corner for the first time. It's the 2 Vauxhalls leading. Giovanardi may well sneak into the lead as they come up towards the complex here, but Plato has been displaced already. I'm sure at least 1 place, if not 2.
Yeah, Plato trying to get around the outside. We're into the complex. There's often contact here. They all seem to get through. Oh, some contact there.
Yeah, and Matt Neal almost got down the inside of Jason Plato again, but just gave him space, and Plato is in 4th place. He is behind the Vauxhalls and everyone else. Look at that, 3 abreast further back, and that's the battle in the independents, because Mike Jordan's in there with Colin Turkington, I think, or it might have been the other BMW of Tom Onslow Cole. Difficult to work out which was which, but up front it is Tom Chilton leading, Giovanardi in 2nd, Menu in 3rd. Yeah, there's Turkington, he's a bit further up, he's behind Plato, so he's running in 5th place at the moment, and also reasonably well up there, of course, is Matt Neal. He's dropped a place, though, to the BMW of Turkington. Then it's Darren Turner.
Yeah, the Vauxhalls getting away in formation, and I expect them to be very strong in these early laps. They've shown prodigious speed on their tyres in the first few laps, and then we'll just have to wait and see what the drop-off of. But Plato will be happy to have got through to 3rd. Someone running wide, that's John George.
Yeah, John George cuts the chicane, gets back on, rejoins alongside Rob Collard, who's making his return. He's in the green Seat. Further back, there's looks like Gordon Shedden. Is that trying to make up some ground? Shedden actually up into 8th place now. Had a problem in qualifying, missed the weighbridge, but actually it didn't affect him too much. It's Chilton leading from Giovanardi in 2nd, Menu in 3rd. There's Plato. He's now chased by the BMW of Colin Turkington. Turkington also looking for points in the independence battle, and his big rival Mike Jordan is down in 10th.
Well, that adrenaline that Jason Plato talked about will certainly have kicked in now as soon as he saw those red lights, and he won't be feeling any pain now. He'll just be concentrating on the back of that Vauxhall in front.
There's the gap, though. It has opened up a little bit, hasn't it? Alain Menu is the car just ahead of him. Double British Touring Car champion. A few years ago, they were teammates, weren't they, Tim, in the Renault days?
Yeah, they certainly were, and Menu adapting to this car very quickly. Had a brief test up at Donington and got the feel of the car straight away, and he is a very quick driver around Thruxton, so a great addition to the Vauxhall team.
Look at the 2 Team Halfords cars. They're running in formation. Matt Neal, the outgoing champion, he's got his own teammate Gordon Shedden putting him under some pressure. Both of them tucked in behind Darren Turner, who just locks the wheel under braking, but no problem, keeps it tidy and neatly through the chicane. They're running 6, 7, 8 at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual because at this point on the last lap, Matt Neal went past Darren Turner, and whether he's let Turner back past them, I don't know, but the positions have been changed. There's Tom Coronel coming through, passing Adam Jones.
Yeah, that's the blue and yellow Seat. Tom Coronel, Dutchman, in his first race in British Touring Cars, and of course first time at Thruxton, but he's got a tremendous background of racing in World Touring Cars and European Touring Cars, and Seat have drafted him in to try and help their cause in terms of winning, in particular, the Manufacturers' Championship. And just to remind you, there's just a few points separating Vauxhall and Seat coming into this weekend.
On board with Colin Turkington. He doesn't have that usual problem here at this track of struggling to get the tyres up to temperature. It's very easy to get the temperature in the tyres early on, but where he is struggling is round this section here, the very high speed corners where he feels the car is jumping into oversteer, and he's losing a little bit of time there.
You could see Plato was a little wide through that previous corner through Goodwood, the right-hander. He's through Church Corner much more neatly and tidily. They try and stay off the curbs in the early laps, Tim, don't they? Because it is crucial with the tyres here at Thruxton.
Yeah, the Dunlop have to tell the teams to start with slightly higher pressures than normal, but nevertheless, there is a danger if they hit those curbs too hard early on. And unsurprisingly, Chilton has let Giovanardi pass into the lead.
Yeah, so it is the Italian now leading. The man who is 9 points behind Jason Plato coming into this race. Now, if they finish where they are, and if Giovanardi can get fastest lap, they will be tied in terms of points going into the second race here. But at the moment, Tom Chilton's got fastest lap, so Giovanardi might find himself 1 point behind. This is what happened. This is Chilton letting Giovanardi through.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't do that earlier on. There was the opportunity to do that on the first race, because as you say, Chilton has had his foot down hard for 3 laps when the tyres are at their freshest, and has taken that fastest lap. So he may have actually taken a point off Giovanardi. We'll have to watch this next lap or two, because if Giovanardi is going to do it, it will only be on this next lap or two while the tyres are still at their best.
Yep, so Giovanardi is in front, the Italian, looking for his first ever British touring car title to add to some 7 other touring car titles that he's won over the years. Look at them bobbling their way. This is the fastest circuit in British motorsport, remember, and they're averaging over 110 miles an hour around this Thruxton airfield circuit, up to nearly 150 as they come up the hill here. This is the fastest section of the track before they get onto the brakes into the chicane. You're riding on board Colin Turkington. He's in 5th place, and he's shadowing Jason Plato at the moment. Behind them, it's then Darren Turner, Matt Neal, Gordon Shedden, Matt Allison going well in 9th place, Mike Jordan in 10th, Matt Jackson is in 11th place, Tom Coronel behind them, then Tom Onslow Cole and Adam Jones.
And Giovanardi on that lap did a 1 minute 20 dead, the same time as Tom Chilton. That's nearly a second, 9/10 away from the fastest lap. So I don't think he's going to get that fastest lap. I think that is going to stay with Chilton.
But what's interesting to me is that both Turkington and Plato were in the 19s on that lap. So they were actually a fraction quicker than the Vauxhalls.
Yeah, you're right. Plato, Turkington and Turner all in the 19s, and Shedden in fact, so maybe they're just stroking it a little bit, but if I was Giovanardi, I'd have put my foot down for a couple of laps.
Yeah, just to try and get that extra point. Every point is going to count in this championship, there's no doubt about it. And there's the Giovanardi family inside in the pits there, waiting to see whether their man is going to come through this weekend to take the British Touring Car title really at the last gasp at this final meeting of the season. Look at the 3 Vauxhalls. This Vectra, Tim, is fantastic around these fast corners at Thruxton.
Yeah, it's a longer wheelbase car, of course, than the Seat Leon, and it does handle really well. It's got a very strong engine, always quickest in the speed traps, and the natural good balance of a longer wheelbase car, the strong engine is making it very quick round here. We saw that in May.
We did, yes. Giovanardi took 2 wins here in May, but then Plato came back to win the 3rd race of the day, so let's wait and see what happens. Remember, that Vectra was a brand new car built by VXR at the start of the season, and it's a very strong car as well. Top 3 cars are all Vauxhalls at the moment. There's Jason's wife watching. I wonder how she feels. I mean, tough to see what he's been through this week with those burns that he's had to deal with. He's got a nurse with him all the time who is redressing those burns every time he's been out in the car.
Yeah, the problem is as soon as they start to dry up, the skin tightens up and it's very hard for him to grasp the wheel. It's the back of his hand that's really painful. And they've done a lot of work, actually. The team have done a lot of work to try and make it more comfortable for him to drive. They put a larger pad on the gear lever, and they've also changed the electronic gear cut to make the gear change softer and not quite so mechanical and harsh, which is costing him a fraction of time because it's a longer gear cut on the engine. But it's just making it a slightly more comfortable environment, if that were ever possible in the car.
There is the nurse on the right in the pink, in fact, his family there as well. Good friend of his, Mike Brewer, in the background as well, next to his dad, so that the amount of support Jason has is massive, of course, and there's thousands of people here at Thruxton today to see the resolution of this title fight. But what a battle it is. He's going, whoa, look at the battle between Turner and Turkington right behind him, and Turner's just snatched that 5th place from Colin Turkington.
Yeah, we saw the end of that, and look, could be that Matt Neal's going to get down the inside of Turkington. He does, and Shedden will try and follow.
I think that's Shedden ahead, actually. I think Shedden's got ahead of Neal. So Shedden's already through, and yeah, Matt, and now Mike Jordan's catching, and of course Jordan and Turkington are battling in the independents, and there's Matt Jackson, who's another independent battler. So we're going to have the top three in the independents all running together. Matt Neal still trying to squeeze past, he's done it. So now the BMW of Turkington with his big rival Jordan behind, and Matt Jackson.
Yeah, Matt Jackson nipping out the slipstream there with a little bit of a run coming out of the Campbell Cobb Seagrave down to this flat out left-hander. That is so tough, that corner. There's a big bump on the inside, it can throw the car over, and as the tyres get worn it becomes a really brave man's corner.
Well, Colin Turkington starred in a round of the World Touring Cars at Brands Hatch a few weeks ago, but they do seem to struggle to get the BMW to work on these harder tyres at Thruxton. But Matt Jackson's working well, he's got past Mike Jordan now.
Yeah, never mind that. Look at Matt Allison on the back of these two cars. He's having his strongest run this year, in fact, because on a side-by-side action with Jordan and Jackson. Who's got the biggest kahunas for the braking?
Well, Jordan does manage it. He gets up into the chicane, and Jackson tried to squeeze him on the grass, and Mike Jordan was having absolutely none of it and said, I'm coming back through here. What a wonderful battle going on there, and that is for 9th place. But here comes Jackson back at him again.
Jackson gets back inside, has a bit of an oversteering moment, and Jordan is now fighting back. Matt Allison with his lights on. That car's been rejuvenated by the Motorbase team. They've put some new dampers on the car. They've worked really hard, and he's flying in it.
Oh, this is good stuff. Great racing in the Independence Trophy battle. Jordan had a 3-point lead coming into this race over Colin Turkington. Turkington is still ahead of this little group. Only the next car up the road, though. But Matt Jackson looks very fired up. He's a few points further back in that battle, but he knows that if he gets some good results, he could still be a contender to be Independence champion. As you say, Matt Allison's going well. Quick mention that Paul O'Neill is in the second Motorbase car here this weekend. Great to see Paul back in British touring cars.
Very much so. Paul, a great character in the paddock and really deserves a place on this field. Very little testing he's had in that car, just a quick run. Oh, Fiona Leggett's been off collecting small bioethanol fuel, we always say, but she's had a moment somewhere. I think, in fact, going back to the front, Jason Plato's going to be quite happy with his position. 4th is honestly about as good as he could have accepted in this first race. He'll be trying to build himself forward for that last race when the grid is reversed. Remember, back in May, he had a 2nd initially, then a 6th place, with Giovanardi winning both those first 2 races. But then in the final race, with the grid reversed, Plato actually won it, and it's almost certain this championship is going to come down to that last race, but he will be quite happy with that at the moment.
Yes, he will. And look, he's still in touch with those Vauxhalls. You can just see there's Giovanardi leading, Chilton in 2nd, then Menu, the extra Vauxhall in, and there's Plato. You see, he's not really dropped that much ground to them. Then he's got his teammate. Now, he'll be happy about that, because, of course, this will line up the grid for the 2nd race of the day, and if he's got his teammate Darren Turner up there to support him, he'll feel happier.
Yes, he will, but he's going to have a little bit of a dilemma if he catches up with Menu, isn't he? Because Menu's got nothing to lose. He's driving a 3rd edition Vauxhall, and will Jason try and pass him or not?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Both of the manufacturers choosing to bring in a 3rd car this weekend, so you can say it's fair in the fact that they've both got one, but well, there's still some anxiety down there in the pits as they wait to see exactly what happens. This is the first of 3 races. It's still all set to build as we go through the day. That fastest lap, by the way, Tim, still, as you said, it belongs to Tom Chilton. They haven't managed to beat it since.
Yeah, all the cars running in the 20s and 21s now, they will definitely not beat that time. But you'd have to say that the decision to bring in a 3rd driver has benefited Vauxhall a lot more than it has Seat. They've brought in an acknowledged BTC race winner in Menu, and he's doing the job perfectly. Whereas Seat, who would have had the opportunity to have brought in Tarquini or Muller, who both drive for Seat in Europe, but apparently both drivers refused to come and do it. Tarquini because he's great friends with Giovanardi, and Muller because he doesn't particularly like Plato. So they ended up with Tom Coronel, and you'd have to say that Vauxhall probably had the better choice there with Menu.
Well, you have to say, looking at it right now, yes, because Coronel's down in 12th place. He's the 3rd of the Seats. He's the extra Seat, if you like, but he's down in 12th position. So at the moment, if you look at the points, Giovanardi would be 1 point behind Jason Plato if it stays as it is at the moment. So Plato running in 4th place, he would still have a 1 point advantage. I gather that Mike Jordan's got problems. Sounds as though he may have dropped back down the order, or let's have a look. Has he got a puncture, or what has happened? he was very confident. I was talking to him yesterday that they wouldn't get a puncture. He picked one up earlier this year when he was up front, and he reckoned they've really got the setup good on the car, but I think he may have got a puncture there, Tim.
Well, the car doesn't appear to be, it looks like the left front wheel's towing out a little bit. In other words, pointing out, yeah, he's definitely got a left front problem. See, the right front wheel's pointing straight, the left one's is pointing out to the outside, so he's got a steering problem. May have been as a result going across the curbs, we don't know. May have been as a result of some contact.
Well, that could be the end of his hopes to win the Independence title, because Colin Turkington's going to win the Independence class in this race for Team RAC. Matt Jackson is currently in second in the class, and Mike Jordan's 3-point advantage is going to be absolutely obliterated. It looks as though his hopes could be over there in just the first race of the day, but we'll have to wait and see. Up front, it doesn't look as though this championship's going to be sorted in the first race, because Giovanardi might lead it, but Plato's still there in 4th place. And as we saw, that would give Plato just a 1-point edge going into the second race of the day if it stays this way. His teammate Darren Turner still running 5th, Gordon Shedden is in 6th, Matt Neal is in 7th, then Colin Turkington, Matt Jackson and Matt Allison completing the top 10.
And as I suspected, the Vauxhall's not quite as quick now as they were at the start of the race. Jason Plato, the quickest man on the track that last lap. And this is the pattern we expect to see over the rest of the day, particularly if it gets hotter. Vauxhall's very quick at the start of the race, Seat getting quicker as the race goes on relative to them.
Yeah, and as you say, Plato is getting closer to Menu, but Menu's not exactly going to be an easy guy to pass. He's going to be wanting to do the job for Vauxhall that he's been employed to do, and that's to help Vauxhall with both the manufacturers and the drivers' championships. This team that has had so much success in British touring cars, Vauxhall, over the years, but had a couple of lean years the last couple of years when Matt Neal has won the title, of course, and then Seat won the manufacturer's title last year. Vauxhall are fighting their way back, and they can grab all of those titles possibly here today. But Jason Plato, he might be injured, but he's certainly not giving up. He has closed up towards his former teammate Alain Menu.
Yeah, whenever you're carrying an injury or if you're overheating or anything, you don't notice it when you're in the car, but as soon as you stop, that all comes through, and I'm sure his slowing down lap is going to be agony.
Remember here that Alain Menu is carrying the same amount of ballast as Jason Plato, because just to let you know, those extra cars have had to carry maximum ballast, and Menu's got 45 kilos on board, but then so has Jason Plato as championship leader.
Yeah, that's very true. That makes them very equal, and that's perhaps why Menu is just dropping off a little bit from the other two. It's not because he's not as quick as them. In fairness, he is carrying maximum ballast, so he's doing a good job, Menu.
So just popping over the curve there, Plato still sitting in 4th position, tucked in behind Menu's Vauxhall, and across the line they come once again through Allard corner. It's still Giovanardi with the advantage. Chilton doing a fine job running in second. Probably a race that he could have won, but as it is, he's going to work for the team here. And Plato...
Yeah, it's just on the Chilton thing, it's a little bit of a shame really that it's taken till this last race for Tom Chilton to really find his form, and he's had so many incidents throughout the year that have cost the team and the manufacturer points, and I guess you've got to say that his position in the team for next year is probably a little bit suspect, and this is probably a little bit too little too late, but Sophie Plato's still desperately anxious.
Yeah, his 40th birthday today, Jason Plato. Is he going to be able to celebrate it in real style by taking his second British touring car title? He's definitely that bit closer to the back of Alain Menu's car. Just a few laps remaining, just 3.5 laps to go here. We're on lap 13 out of 16. Can Jason Plato, does he take the gamble? He's driven with, I think, a real sense of maturity this year, Plato. He often hasn't taken the big risks. He's sat out and waited a little longer than he might have done in his earlier days. But now is the moment of truth. Do you go for it or don't you?
I think he'll put the pressure on and go for it if the opportunity arises. But as we've already seen, there's only going to be 1 point between them if they finish at this in these positions. He can't afford to take too big a risk, so he'll just pressurise Menu and hope that maybe a certain amount of unfamiliarity with that car as the race goes on will just lead to a little mistake that'll let Plato through cleanly, but he won't chance too much.
Under braking, he seemed to have a little bit of an edge. This is the sort of corner the Seat is so stable and so quick. But now as they come out of this section, it's where the Vauxhall's horsepower begins to tell. It's nerve-wracking. And this is only race 1 of 3. What's it going to be like by the end of the day? Well, Giovanardi's pulled away a bit now from Chilton in second place, but there in third, it's Menu doing the job that he's been asked to do so far for Vauxhall, and that's to protect their positions. Darren Turner's also caught up a little bit in the other Seat.
Yeah, Darren Turner's going well. Obviously, his car is a fair bit lighter as well. He's carrying 0 ballast, so he's doing the team job that he wants to do for... Oh, that's Chilton gone off. Now, could that be a puncture? It might well be a puncture. That was at Church.
Tom Chilton is off. Vauxhall have lost one of those 3 cars that were dominating this race. Giovanardi still leads, but look at this.
Well, he's gone wide initially and got on the marbles, and then that's just dragged him off. But did he go wide because he had a puncture, or just because he went in a little bit too quick?
Well, that's a worry for Vauxhall. We'll try and see when he gets back on the tarmac whether he's got a punctured tyre, whether it was a mistake. There's Giovanardi. This does change things a bit. It will give Plato another point or 2, which means he'll just have a little bit more of a cushion going into race 2. So Vauxhall, well, it was 3, now it's down to 2, and are the cars going to hold up for the remaining couple of laps here?
Yes, it's desperate times, and maybe Chilton just went a bit too hard in those early laps when he set that fastest lap. Maybe attacked the curbs too hard when the tyre pressures were low, but we need to see to confirm all of that. But it is anxious times, and as you say, it does now give Plato a couple of extra points, which is just perfect. It means he doesn't have to push. He doesn't have to push any harder to try and pass Menu, and I think he will now lead by 3 points if he finishes in this position. And look at that left front puncture.
Left front puncture. Yeah, well, 3 points, as you say, the advantage for Jason Plato if it stays like this. Where's Darren Turner going? That was a weird line.
He was very nearly off then, very, very nearly off. Was that the start of something? He slowed down.
Yeah,
he has slowed down. He felt something then in that going through Church. It's going through Church in the preceding corner that you'll notice it. Yes, and he's lost that position.
Yeah, he's going past.
He's got puncture as well.
Look at that. So 1 Vauxhall, 1 Seat, both in trouble here in race 1 at Thruxton. And that's going to hurt Plato because he was looking forward to having support from Turner in race 2. Can they all get round this final lap without picking up a puncture? They're all going to be fairly cautious, I should think. Gentle on the steering, not putting too much load through the tyre.
Allison with another one. This is such a difficult thing. It's a gamble for the teams, because if they run a little bit too much camber or too low a start pressures, then this is what can happen. It's not a fault of the tyre. The tyre is well capable of doing the distance. It just depends how the team want to compromise performance with reliability.
So this is the critical section of the lap here that we're about to see as they come through Goodwood and Church. That's where we've seen the problems for both Chilton and for Turner, presumably also for Allison. It seems to be this area. It's so much heat build-up on the tyre. If you're running a bit risky in terms of the angle you're running the wheels or the tyre pressures, that's where it can go wrong. Good run from Plato. He might attack for second on the final lap. Coming up to the chicane. Menu goes to the inside. Plato.
Menu's got a puncture. Menu's got a puncture as well.
Well spotted.
Menu's got a puncture.
Brilliant spot, and he's going to get second. Jason plays. Sophie goes mad. There's delight down there in the Plato camp because Plato's going to finish second. Giovanardi wins it for Vauxhall. Plato takes second, and suddenly Plato has a bit more of a cushion going into race 2 here at Thruxton. What drama right down to the final lap.
It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. This, well, he must feel like he's won a championship just in that race alone after the week he's had. It just must be a colossal feeling, and 2 more races of this, I don't know how I'm going to cope.
Look at Giovanardi, looks in his mirror and thinks, how come you're there? I had 2 Vauxhalls behind me. What are you doing there?
Yeah, the team have radioed him and said Plato second. He can't believe it. There's Menu pulled off just after the first corner. What a good job he did. But the team need to look at the settings for those 2 other Vauxhalls, because Giovanardi got the car home without a puncture. The other 2 didn't. There's the Seat team celebrating an unexpected but hugely deserved second place.
And that was the reaction down there in the Seat camp when they saw Menu's problem and Jason took second. Well, that was just unbelievable. It's now a 5-point difference. Plato holds a 5-point advantage going into race 2 here at Thruxton. My goodness, it's surely going to go all the way to the final race of the season. It's going to go down to the final checkered flag, and well, Plato held it all together there, didn't he? He must have been nervous though when he saw Turner have the same problem in his mirrors. The result of the first race of the day, Giovanardi wins it, but Plato's second, Shedden in third, ahead of Menu, who came fourth despite the punch on the last lap. Matt Neal fifth, Turkington sixth and top independent, then Jackson, Coronel, Adam Jones and Tom Onslow Cole. Well, a really, really dramatic first race of the day here. And Giovinazzi might have taken the points for the win. He didn't get the extra point for the fastest lap, and Plato came in second place.
It's an extraordinary championship, but throughout it all, the class of the field comes to the top, and you know, Giovinazzi and Plato have come through first and second despite everything, and were just an unbelievable race. Unbelievable indeed. There's Jason and Diana. I should think you've been enjoying this just as much as we have.
Absolutely, Ben. Yes, the atmosphere down here is pretty electric, as you can imagine. But stay with us because of all the reaction after the break. Do it, you do it.
You do it. I don't mind. We'll find what happens. I think you're doing it officially. Sure, go.
Jason Plato having got that second place. Fantastic effort by him, and this must be the painful bit, trying to get that crash helmet off over the burns. Very sore. The adrenaline's been pumping, and but there, what a result he has just achieved for himself, for Seat to come home in second place after Vauxhall looked to be heading for a 1-2-3 result, but it wasn't to be. Giovinazzi, his big rival, though, still taking the race victory, and what it means in the points is that Jason now has a 5-point advantage over Giovinazzi. Ahead, Gordon Shedden back there in third place. He's solidifying that third place ahead of his teammate Matt Neal, but it's the battle up front, and it's just 5 points between them. Let's get down to the pits now with Diana. She's with Jason Plato.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am down here with Jason. He's just got out of the car. Jason,
Dad.
he's just getting his cap, so Jason's just getting himself sorted. Obviously, Jason, how tell us how that race felt, because it must have been a lot of emotion going on. It was a good battle, and you've come through.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race. I mean, we had a funny fair feeling that Vauxhall have played their trump card in qualifying, and as we've seen with the opening laps, they were very strong. But the Seat Leon is a great car over the distance, and it looks after its tyres. And I knew with about 7 laps to go, I was starting to catch them, and I knew where I was strong, where I wasn't. So yeah, it's quite an interesting result to be honest. They're obviously very, very marginal on tyres. It'd be interesting to see when we scrape ours down where we are. But you know, as I said earlier, we've got a good race car. It's going to be a tough battle this to the end, I tell you.
It's going to be a bit of an emotional day today, isn't it, really? And obviously, you know, you're racing with those injuries as well, so it can't be easy.
No, I mean, it's not easy, but the best things in life aren't, are they? But, you know, adrenaline, as I said, God knows how many times this week, adrenaline's a marvellous drug, and, you know, once I'm in the car concentrating on the job in hand, then I don't really feel too much pain. It's only on the slowing down lap or when I'm out of the car, then the pain starts to come back. But it's worth a big fight. This we desperately want to win this championship.
All right, Jason, thanks ever so much for that. Well, let's just have a chat with Fabrizio as well, who's just having a quick chat with Jason there. Fabrizio, congratulations on that race win.
Yeah, it's good. Unfortunately, we had 2 cars back that's stopping, my teammates. So again, I think in the fight, nobody have to come in through me and Jason. So we fight me and him for the final fight.
Were you worried about the tyres at all?
Not me, because I didn't have any trouble on tyres. I've seen my teammate blow up the tyres, so we will check what was happening.
Well, you kept them behind you for that one. What's the plan for the second?
Just to make the same. Try to win and keep Jason back. I cannot do different, so
okay.
Let's see.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Cheers. And Gordon Shedden's here as well, so we just grab a quick chat with him. Gordon, do you think you were going to catch them up the front?
No, obviously the Vauxhall's got away, and Jason and Darren both got away quite early on as well. But Thruxton's notoriously hard on tyres, and I knew that. Well, I hoped come the end of the race we'd still have have 4 tyres all inflated on my car, and obviously picked up a couple of places in the last couple of laps and elevated me to a podium. So yeah, really, really good.
It was a bit nerve-wracking, wasn't it? Because for us watching, we saw quite a few people have tyre problems.
Yeah, and especially at Thruxton, you almost get those last 2 or 3 laps, and you start hearing every noise in the car, and you just start hoping that your tyre's going to last. But I took it quite easy early on, made sure I didn't give the tyre too hard a time, and thank goodness I've got to the end.
Okay, thanks very much. Congratulations, Gordon. Okay, that's it from down here. We're going to take a short break. Join us again in a few minutes.